So a couple days ago, I made a video talking about a situation with an artist who had a client that took the artwork that she made for him, or air quotes art, because this situation gets a lot worse. But she made a post calling out said user because they decided to take what she made and input it into AI and generate a video. And in that video, there's a lot of call outs going on. But as we fast forward to present time, things get even wilder. So for those that are curious, it's this video that I originally made. So artists got their work sold by AI. And someone actually made a comment on this video that I just saw recently. And someone said, hey, so this artist, Moff Dusky, also just got exposed for tracing AI gen furry art and also others art on DeviantArt for like a year. Quick edit. Also, by no means does this make the AI cat bro, making slop good or right or bad, but it's an insane kind of plot twist. And yeah, I would agree. I looked into this. It's actually kind of hard to keep track of all this. It's actually getting wild to piece all this together. So I'm going to try my best. But I will say, seeing that just alone, and then the fact that when I tried to go to Moff Dusky's profile, I saw this. That's not a good look, bro. I'm going to be real with you. If you were in the right and there's nothing wrong at all, and you didn't do anything wrong, no matter which way you want to spin it, making your profile protected and making it so no one can see anything about your post anymore is really hard to make anyone take your story and believe it or follow in any way, shape, or form. I think that is a really, really, really bad look. And I think that if you were, of course, in the right and that there is nothing going on wrong, then you wouldn't make your Twitter private and you would just have a post announcing that and acknowledging it. Now, when I went over to their Blue Sky, I think that's really odd, to be honest. They have their Blue Sky in their commission page. So when you come over here, I'm going to censor the art just because I'm not sure if YouTube TOS or anything, but they have it over here. They said, guess I'm going to start posting here now. They originally didn't post on Blue Sky for 2 months ago, and then they just started posting today. And so then they were posting some work in progress and some ref sheets. And then they retweeted this talking about, remember, folks, original Blue Sky ethos by us Blue Sky elders, apparently I count, is block and move on. Don't quote dunk. Don't pick fights, block and move on. This is what made the site unpalatable to the right early on, and we can continue to make it unpalatable to them. I guess talking about the whole situation with this, and I don't know, man. I really think that it's not a good look to just ignore all this, because we're about to go through it right now and I'll show you. So when I was trying to look through this and dig through all of it, this was one of the things I went to one of their posts that Moff Dusky made, and I can't see any of it. Again, it's a bad look, bro. How am I, the user, supposed to look at you in good faith and say, all right, you did nothing wrong, you are clearly in the right, who cares, block and move on, if the things that you provide, the things that people are supposed to see, cannot actually look at it and everything is all hidden? But it's fine. So let's go through some compilation posts that people have made and let's see what's going on. I have tried to pin all this together, put it together like a evidence board the best I can. It's probably going to be a lot of sync because this really throws it all into whack, which maybe that's what they want. But here's a post someone said, a thread, 1 out of 4, all we know about the Moff Dusky tracing controversy. In her main defense against the allegations of tracing over AI generated art, she blatantly lied about it not lining up and didn't show dates or all the layers in her video. Anyone can confirm the images do line up. So this was one of the posts that they did on the 13th, and she was saying, hey, so this was not traced via AI. The post was just very commonly used. And so this was, I guess, some of the video that they showcased and everything to try and prove that it was correct. But after people looked into it, then apparently the images do line up. So continuing on, this was another image that they were showcasing. This is where it was layered on top of each other so you could do the comparison. So continuing on, it says, with still zero proof of any sketch ever existed, it was posted in any Discord server prior to the AI generated image. She claims it was her sketch that the image was generated from, while the generation data confirms it was only text based. So this was another post that Moff Dusky made. It said, pretty sure I posted the sketch in line work into a chat room for critiques as I was still new to how light bounced off of fabric. Then left when a friend's commission was thrown into AI and posted it in the same server. Here's the servers I used to be in that are now pro AI. So then she said, please be wary when posting your art in servers, not to mention Nightshade and Poison them. As disheartening as it is to hear that someone snagged my piece and tossed it into AI generation 3 different times, I can't imagine how many times this happened behind the scenes. And then here was the image that was showcasing that the image, I guess she tried to showcase as was based off her own work, was actually based off prompts. So yeah, Then continuing on, here's another one. So let's continue on. 3 out of 4. Multiple other claims by her about the reference she used for this commission conflict with each other, not helping her case at all. Someone said, when did you start sketching the astronaut art? I see some accusations that the AI art in question was from 2004, which made people believe that you traced it. She said this AI pic that I had was from early July, I believe on DeviantArt, but has also been reposted and redone multiple times. I started this commission late May to June, but I did finish it in July just as I had some family issues arise. So that was the 3 out of 4. And then 4 out of 4. This one, this was kind of a stretch, but I can understand why people would pull to this one specifically. And so for 4 out of 4, it says she's not above copying reference material for your character here commissions, and when called out, refused to appeal to commonality defense rather than acknowledging the lack of artistic responsibility to be transformative with non-personal artwork when taking inspiration from other works. And so this was someone calling this out saying, explain this, Steve. And they said, good news, she traced art from this user, but then Moth Dusky replied back saying, hey, so this is on Pinterest. It's a very popular reference. Everyone uses them. So this is what she uses, which to her defense, realistically, this is just a reference. Multiple artists can use references all the time, and I'm sure that you're going to find many artists who use the same references that they find on Pinterest. This isn't brand new. This isn't, something wildly surprising. But yeah, I mean, you could try and maybe say that both artists potentially trace the same reference. There are a lot of things. This one doesn't really hold much weight in my opinion. This is just random. So I personally wouldn't really look at that too much. And then down here, they just finish off by giving their own thoughts. But that's, again, not the only thread. We have another one right here. This one was showcasing a posted from Moth Dusky, September 27, 2025. So work in progress is something I had in store for Halloween. And then this is another one that was posted September 25th on DeviantArt by Deus, whoever this may be. And then out of curiosity, I did go and check to see if this was even a real image or if someone photoshopped it. No, it is real. You can find it right here, 2025, 0925, drafts, White Witch. And this is AI generated indeed. You can find it right here. So going back to this, they were talking about it and explaining that, hey, this is published September 25th. This is published September 27th. Looks pretty uncanny, very, very super similar. And so that's what people were starting to point towards as like, all right, something ain't right. But now because Moth Dusky did make their profile private, I can't exactly tell you what this tweet was. So I'm kind of just going to piece this together, sort of going through what these replies are. But some people are saying, so you didn't read the entire thread. They said, so let me reiterate. If they're tracing AI, they'll do anything to hide it. A screenshot of a date on a file doesn't prove anything. It's all way too easy to fake that for me to be comfortable taking the word for it. Something else also worth mentioning is that the model that generated the AI version was released September 8th. Moth Dusky's own thread said that she hadn't even created the art file until the 18th. How did the AI train on a piece of work that didn't exist yet? Which that's a fair point to be made. And then continue down here, it's just more people discussing the entire situation as a whole. But then we move on to this one. This is another discussion. Someone says, I have my answer. Do not believe her. She's a liar. I want it to be wrong. Blocking people who want clarification is basically an admission of guilt, spreading the news far and wide that Moth Dusky is a liar. So this is what this user tweeted to Moth Dusky. They said, can you show a screenshot of the actual request? Can you show the creation date of the sketch videos? And 3, recording of you opening a fresh tab of the webpage with the request to avoid inspect element shenanigans. And then they got blocked. That's I think that's pretty bad, but let's see. Someone says, so she's a liar because she doesn't want to answer your tweet. What kind of narcissistic take is that? They posted evidence, but your delusional ass can't handle it. She had time to block me. She had time to get proper evidence. She had nothing to offer and block me. Her evidence is very one-sided and doesn't show the whole picture. Continuing on, someone said, I would love to see your reaction when many people ask you the same bullshit over and over. Said, then wouldn't it be best to offer the missing information? They said, what do you want? She provided creation dates. She provided additional meta tags for the image. You guys already recreated the image in a few days, claiming that's proof, while it only shows that the image is somewhere in the model. So this is one of those things where I don't really know, man. This stuff just keeps on going. Like, you can follow all these threads into different things. This was another I guess I post from Moth Dusky. It said he commissioned me June 2nd. The TOS was updated in the middle of May after I noticed an uptick in AI on my timeline. Further updates may include price changes, image for portfolios, and small changes to the overall look to my website. Said this post had AI image marked 3/17/25, and then the person who commissioned Moth Dusky had their commission on June 2nd, 2025, and then here's a receipt confirming the date. So yeah, I mean, this is some insane stuff. And then continuing on, you can see more information right here. I'm going to have to blur this just because I don't want to take a chance with, TOS from YouTube. But then yeah, there's a lot more stuff going on here. It says, oh, more damning evidence is getting unearthed, and Moff Dusky strides in so hard, the piece that Snowcat used Grok on revealed to be a traceover. And yeah, this is some really wild stuff, man. I'm trying my best to really keep all this going on. There are some more threads. You could just look at the usernames and then go to their Twitter accounts later if you want. This is the last thing I'll read, but this person posted, it really bums me out to post this, but I'm highly confident this talented artist is hoping their audience doesn't understand how AI works and did trace this. So it starts with A. The AI online post was not off their sketch. It clearly shows it was text prompts even in the screenshots. Text prompt equals not from an image reference. B. Their speed paints are not showing their layers. Typically, you have at least one loose sketch layer and then a finer line inking layer. Don't take my word for it. Ask any semi-experienced artist. You know if the process shown seems realistic. Next one, it says it would be trivial for the artist to share their work and dispel my allegations if they sufficiently produce the timestamp work. I will in good faith publicly apologize and donate $500 to whatever charity they choose. C. The AI seems to magically have details, perspective, lighting, proportions from their purported sketch speed paints match effectively one-to-one. This is improbable and not how any Gen AI model works. Arguably, no longer the case of maybe the last 5 weeks, but irrelevant to the situation. D. With all this in mind, when you overlay the speed paint, you can see how this is probably a tracing workflow. E. Reviewing the final image draws a striking resemblance to the AI art that, once again, is full of details that are not present in the sketch they allege was used to make the AI output. F. While irrelevant from the above points, the timestamp they provided the sketch being before the AI is trivial to falsify, and their evidence didn't even show it in any of the context of the sketch. 3 pieces of media attached to the post illustrate my key points, showing final image versus the AI speed paint over the AI, and a cropped screenshot from the artist's own evidence demonstrating that the AI was not from an image reference. Recap, I believe this art was created by tracing a previously existing AI generation while being displayed as original in a misleading manner. And then they said they're posting this because they believe that representing your work to clients and audience as not AI, and the core concept should not be AI. This is far beyond a reference. I'm not confident that this would even pass as transformative. This trace over AI is the workflow many AAA studios are starting to use, and is a uniquely different product than what one is expecting by default when commissioning artists in this community. If someone is offering this AI cleanup / trace service in the community, they should be candid about it. We all know how this would go over though. It would be a niche service to those who do not have the qualms with Gen AI, and therefore not priced at the premium of original works. Our expectations around artistic integrity is essential to the authenticity at the core of furry. I would very much love to be incorrect, and I'm eager to make apology with the donation mentioned above. 3 final notes for clarity. I'm not alleging this artist uses AI for the work. I'm only referring specifically to this piece. By trace, I mean directly painting over the AI output rather than using it as a reference. Many will dislike this, but I'm not denouncing the general use of Gen AI. I'm simply stating that we should be transparent when it's used in the space. It wouldn't be expected by default. Many accounts are transparent about Gen AI on here and with large audiences, just not the same audience. And then down here, you can find them showcasing examples, pretty much how it was one-to-one, more or less, with, I guess, the speed paint over the actual image itself. So yeah, very wild situation. This is actually just insane. Plot twist. I really couldn't tell you how much of this is going to be right or wrong. It really is unfortunate that Moff Dusky has their profile private. Can't really even reference any of this. Can't even give any information at all to understand essentially what's going on. I feel like you should be pretty transparent and pretty open about this. And if you are in the good, then ultimately you will succeed. But I think making your Twitter private and then just going over to Blue Sky and then just ignoring everything going forward is not a good look in my personal opinion. But again, I couldn't, I really can't tell you. This is all hard to piece together. If you're a lore expert, you know more information than I could ever piece together. Hey, go off in the comment section. I would love to read it.